TJ here once again, and welcome to the Imaginary Gallery. This is the second episode in a three-part series about the three stages of narcissistic abuse. So, in the first stage, we already covered the love bombing, where you found your soulmate. You found the perfect person who accepts you for exactly who you are, someone who makes you feel like you're on top of the world, and you found the perfect mate after dealing with a bunch of frogs. So that has, again, like we said, filled your brain with drugs, and you're really self-confident now that you've made it, and you've got this great person on your side. And by now, if they did a good job with their love bombing, you're probably living together or staying together almost every night, and then eventually we'll talk about living together. And you just think your life is heaven. They agree with everything you say. They like everything you like. They do anything you want to do, and it's just like heaven. Well, eventually that stage will gradually go away, and it can take a few weeks, months, even years. But basically, what will happen is you'll start noticing little strange things that are inconsistent in the narcissist's behavior, such as in your beginning love bombing stage. If your partner had said, "Oh, I love dogs too," like you do, but then you happen to witness him when he doesn't know you're looking, him shoving your dog off the bed or something like that. Well, that is not the indication it's a dog lover. So little things like that will show up, and if you address them, like, "Why did you just push my dog off the bed?" "Oh, it was an accident." "Oh, I was mad. I had a bad day," or some excuse, but they want to keep things going on because they're getting a supply from you. By this point, they've got their hooks in you, so they are gaining supply from you. But eventually, they'll get bored with you in some ways because they're basically probably taking on your personality tactics, your personality traits, for their future acts of seduction and manipulation. And after a while, things get to be the same day after day, but they're still with you. So you'll still notice little things here and there, though. And if you start noticing several, each time if you bring it up to them, they're always going to have some kind of way to excuse it away, to make it seem like you're imagining things. And then remember from the love bomb stage when they loved everything about you and you felt you could be yourself. Example I could use would be, let's say you're goofy, like I am. I'll be goofy. I'll say goofy, retarded stuff sometimes just for fun. It it's just fun. But in the beginning, in the love bombing stage, I would be told, "Oh, I love your goofy sense of humor. You're so funny. I love the stuff you say. It's crazy. It's great." Well, all of a sudden, in the second stage, those very things that were so endearing to this person that it contributed to all your brain drugs of, "Wow, I'm on top of the world," all of a sudden, it may not necessarily be from the narcissist directly, but things will happen. Like you'll go to the narcissist family's house for a dinner, let's say, and you use your usual goofy charm. Well, what you might do the next day is say something like, "I had a good time at your family's. That was a good meal." You might be told something like, "Well, it's nice you feel that way, but I shouldn't say anything, but my parents think you're kind of weird." And all of a sudden, all that stuff about you that was fine before is all of a sudden a problem. And you'll start to self-doubt, like, "Wait a minute, that's what brought me here. I showed you the weirdness." And but again, I would just be like, "Well, that I'm still the same person. That's their problem." But anyway, that's as a result of my experiences. But if you haven't had these before, you might feel insulted or hurt. And if you confront the narcissist, "I feel hurt about that." They'll try to say, "Oh, well, you shouldn't. Oh, but they didn't mean anything. Oh, it's okay." But anyway, things like that start to happen, and eventually, the narcissist as well will start finding little things wrong with you, such as, let's say, for the last 6 months, year, 2 years, you've always washed your dishes the same way, and let's say you don't dry them, so they sometimes have spots. Well, you've been doing that for years, but all of a sudden, this perfect person you found is like, "What is wrong with this glass? You need to learn how to do the dishes." And they start complaining about little things, and they start to treat you in different ways, or they'll tell you that others are saying things about you, and or like my case, they'll be like, "When we're out in public, you don't have to act so weird." I think I'm acting the same I've acted from day one, but again, this is all designed to gaslight or to manipulate you or to make you think or doubt yourself. But anyway, these little things build up. And eventually you'll probably, if you're an empath, you'll probably say, hey, let's have a talk. There are some things going on and I don't feel right about them. Well, you have empathy, you have sensitivity and understanding of other people. This person doesn't. So you'll try to talk through things and make them make sense, and you'll find brick walls everywhere. And this is where things start to change, and you try to get them back to the way they were. Like your drugs aren't working anymore, and you want them back. So you try everything you know, and it doesn't work. And you find yourself thinking, you know what, all my life, whenever I've had a problem, I've always been able to address it with discussions, and it goes away, but it's not, those tools aren't working here. And you start to wonder what's happening. Well, that's the second stage, because by this point, the narcissist has probably gotten all of you out of you what they want, and part of that includes stealing your identity. They're listening to everything you say and using or preparing to use the types of phrases you use in their next impersonation of a real human being, in their next target, or maybe they're already using it. But anyway, at this time, you'll be confused and you'll be trying to solve problems because you want to go back to that original stage, but it doesn't come back. And then you start to think there's something that you've done that you could have done differently, even though when you think in your mind, like, he's saying that they think I'm weird. Well, he liked that. He's saying he doesn't like the music I play, but he liked that, and it just makes you confused. So you're being manipulated, you're being confused, and this is going to lead to the next stage, and the final stage of, well, it could be the final stage, but that'll be the next next video. So stay tuned.